Then so now you just have to like disappear your
Y pues
box.
de Apple, aquí está. Esos son buenos, se verían.
Ah, sí.
Que sí, pero mira que perdí eso ayer.
Ah, sí.
¿No vi que perdiste eso ayer?
Oh, no, no puse atención.
No.
So, I appreciate you chatting with me today, Michelle. This is such an interesting film. Was there something about obviously this famed case, or maybe um, the opportunity to work with this incredible premise that really drew you to be a part of this film?
Um, well, I was, attracted to so many different things about it. I just loved what it was about. I loved the story of it. A story that has, shaped civil liberties, shaped, changed how people got arrested in our country and in other countries. Um, and there was a gap in our history. Nobody had knew the origin of the Miranda rights. So that attracted me very much to telling the story. Everybody that came on board to do this, including me, felt the importance of it.
Well, there's a number of incredible actors featured in this film. How involved were you when it came to the casting?
Well, I was very privileged to have carte blanche in casting. I mean, when that does that happen? Like never. I got to cast the people I wanted to cast. Yesterday we had a premiere here, and I turned to one of our executive producers and really thanked him because I had a chance to really cast the actors I wanted to cast. I did the movie that I wanted to make. I know how rare that is, believe me. When you do bigger, this is an independent movie, by the way. This is not a studio movie. But I mean, obviously, there was money that went into it because it was a period piece. And that's not, inexpensive to make.
Everyone does an exceptional job of acting with this. Talk about casting Abigail Breslin as the lead. She just is astounding in this role. My goodness, such a heavy weight she carries.
I agree with you 100%. And I had, distinct moment. I had a lot of like young actresses, and then I had Abigail, who's also a young actress. And and for some reason she was on the right of my desk and I had a pile on the left. And I heard a voice speak to me and say, stop screwing around and just cast a real actress. And that was it. Literally an hour later, we made her an offer. She read it the same day. We met the day
Oh,
after. We looked at each other and we said, we're going to do this together and it's going to be great. So it went like that fast. Um, it was just, I made the decision. One thing that I keep learning in my life, in this movie and other areas of my life, is just the power of intent. When you say, I want this, and I can tell you that I also heard a distinct voice inside of me at one point because they were interviewing other directors but me. And I remember hearing inside of me, I want to tell the story. I want to direct this movie. So, there was a power in intent, in the intent of working with Abigail and her intent. Um, yeah, intent can be very strong.
every scene I feel like is super strong, and I feel like that's a testament to the wonderful person you are as an actress, as an acting coach. So you bring your own specific viewpoint to the wonderful scenes and of course the acting that you get out of the individuals who are doing these performances. Was there something in particular, or a scene in particular, that you wanted to be sure you spoke to an actor or an actress in that moment and say, look, this is the intent of the scene. It's going to be difficult for you, but maybe, you know, I trust what you're doing, or here's what I really want from you because as an as an actor and as a coach, here's what I really need in this moment. And I know you're capable of going there, but you had to maybe either push it a little bit or maybe had to check in with them a little bit.
It's really all what you're saying. These are all great, questions. And I think that it's very intuitive. So I sometimes call the actor ahead of time and rehearse them ahead of time. And sometimes I don't. You know, you'll hear directors that say, I don't like to rehearse, and then directors that say, I like to rehearse a lot. I like to mix it up. And I like to trust my intuition when it comes to that. Sometimes you have to speak less, sometimes you have to speak more. Uh, Obviously, the rape scene was a very delicate scene in this movie.
Yeah.
um we had slated, and I don't know how, but it's like when you put the jigsaw puzzle together and you do the board, it ended up being the last day of the shoot, and we lost time because there were thunderstorms last June. We shot it a year ago in New Jersey, and so I had to go back to the bus stop to get some pivotal scenes, because if not, I didn't have that, because we lost the time because of the thunderstorms. So now I only have half a day to shoot the rape scene, and
Oh,
it's a location change. It's a company move. It was an hour away. So I woke up that morning and I had 27 setups to get. And I was like, this, I don't know. I was just trying to think, how am I going to do this? And I was swimming in this pool of this rented house, and this bird came and stood a long time. And I had this, I mean, I know this is going to make me sound so freaking crazy. I had this conversation with this bird, and I was like, how am I going to get these 27 shots? So I walk on set at 5:30 and I get everybody in a circle. And my first AD, my DP, I'm like, guys, I got to get 27 setups today. And they're all telling me, you're completely crazy. My first AD hates when I tell this story. Everybody's telling me I'm crazy and it's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. And I was just determined. I said, watch me. And I literally got everything I needed in the bus stop, and I ended exactly at 11:30 and did not go into meal penalty to go to the other location. And then my DP said, the light's coming up at 4:30, can't shoot anymore. I'm like, nope, we're shooting till 5:30. I'm going in the car, handheld, darken the windows, and I'm gonna
God.
get it. And I got all of it. And we stopped exactly at 5:30 a.m. It was apocalyptic. It was on the ocean. The sun rose. Everybody came because it was a wrap. And then I said that I was going to get back to my house at 7 a.m. I didn't get back at 6:59 or 7:01. I get back exactly at 7 a.m. It was, I walked into my house. I was like, what happened? I got 27 setups at exactly the time I said I was going to do it. So that was challenging that whole entire day, because it had the rape scene, which I had talked about to Abby and to Sebastian. They worked so well together. They were both so brave. It was a delicate scene. A lot of people, was a close
I
set, walked away from the monitor. It's uncomfortable. It's upsetting to see a scene like that. But everybody was brave, and I was always going to shoot it very artistically anyway. I wasn't going to, shoot it in a visceral way. It was always my intent to, make it artistic.
Is there a scene then that maybe turned out even better looking back when you're in the editing room or even watching it on the big screen at the premiere even yesterday that you're like, wow, this turned out even better than where I penned to see it on screen?
As you can imagine, I've watched it many times, and we had a festival circuit. We premiered opening night of the Santa Barbara Film Festival in February in the Historical Theater of Arlington Theater. 2 weeks ago, we were at the Avalon Theater, another historical theater in Catalina Island, where we won a lot of awards. And so we played four historical theaters. And yesterday, the premiere was also in a historical theater in Los Angeles, the Regency Bruin. So that's five historical theaters. So watching it with audience, it's incredible, but there's different responses in different moments. That's what it is, the watching it, the power of watching it with audience. And so of course I notice different things every single time. uh I mean, listen, I think, and everybody says it, so it's not just me, but the acting, Miranda, who plays the mother, little moments, subtle moments that she has, moments that Abby has, moments that Ryan Felipe has, and Luke Wilson. I'm just, my whole entire cast. You know,
The
there's
whole
there's a scene that I love, is the scene where she tells her husband the truth, and he slams the refrigerator door and he goes, no, no, no. I just love that moment. It's so, out of control. Um, and she's fighting for justice. It's so cooked into the theme of what this is about, to fight for justice at whatever cost. And then
dropping was it for me. You know, she drops the milk in the kitchen. That was poignant.
And I love the moment when the two, they're about to duel, when Ryan Felipe and Luke Wilson have a moment when they look at each other at the beginning of the first courtroom, and you go there, they're doing what they know how to do. They're going to fight for their points of views. I just, yeah, there's so much of it that I love, I have to tell you, and there's so much of it that I discover. And I'm not done yet. I'm going to be watching it several more times. There's DGA screenings, there's two more film festivals, there's a lot more going on. But yeah, I love this movie. I stand behind my choices, I feel that it was just a good story to tell, and I love the fact that it comes full circle. That karma's a bitch. There's that twist at the end, and it really happened. So listen, if they give you this many years and you don't make all those years, and they release you early, there's karmic justice after all.
You mentioned you this at a number of film festivals already. What has been the response from various people who have come up to you afterwards?
Well, that's a whole other thing, but it very powerful. There's a lot of people, and and I myself had a bit of a light bulb epiphany 2 days ago doing one of these interviews. Um, there's a lot of stories about sexual assault. I mean, we have to be real about this. Uh, I did when I started to work on this movie, and I didn't consider myself a victim of sexual assault. I did not. However, somebody very close to me was. And I thought, well, that's what's driving me to tell this story. That's my hook to this. That's why I want to tell this, because this person that's really close to me, who's passed away since, also suffered it. Um, and she was more like the mother in the story. She's like, no, let's get on with our life. Let's sweep it under the carpet. Let's not deal with it. So a couple of days ago, I'm doing an interview, and I'm realizing you buried this so deep. But you have two things that have happened in your life when you were 11 and 13 that are under the umbrella of sexual assault. And when I realized that, it just blew me away how I was so in denial about it. And I think, and this woman came up to me in New Jersey last week, because New Jersey, we introduced the real Patricia Weir to the audience. And this woman said, there's a lot of women that have suffered sexual assault. And the light bulb didn't go off for me then either. When she said that to me, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. You're right. But it didn't go off that I was part of it. And it's very interesting. I can't believe how I suppressed it, how I repressed this in such a huge way. Um, so, I think that this is a big story, and people are really moved by it because either they know someone that's gone through it, or if they've gone through it personally. I think it's big, the same way why the same reason why the Me Too movement had to happen, because finally the water was boiling and boiling and boiling and just tipped over. It's the same thing. Like, I think there's a lot of people that are victims, but nobody wants to think of themselves as a victim. And certainly I don't, because I'm really strong. And maybe that's the reason why I just buried it and didn't want to deal with it.
But maybe why you also unconsciously, drew yourself to be a part of this project as well.
Totally. I think so. I mean, there's a reason. Sometimes hindsight's 2020, but there's a reason why I just think that I wanted to direct this, very much so. Yeah.
Is that then what you hope lingers with people who do watch Miranda's Right? Is that if you've had this trauma and maybe you don't recall it, it's okay to speak up. It's finally time for you to speak your truth, or is it that um, be brave,
I
or
think, yes, be brave, believe that justice can be had. But in any event, I think to speak the truth is healing. That's what I told Abby, when we had that first meeting together. I said, this is, you're brave to do this. This is going to be healing for you, and you're going to help to heal other people. And I said that to Patricia because she was backstage last week shaking. And I forgotten we had this moment, because a lot of these events, they're so like, it becomes all. But I hugged her backstage, and I felt her body was just shaking. Um,
Mhm.
because she's 78 years old, but this event is something that she's so, so brave to go back in there and relive it over and over again so she could get justice. Um, yeah, so I think this is a big topic. It's not, this is a big topic of conversation. And there was a reason why, I guess I was meant to direct it because I'll tell you, they spoke to other people and I don't know that I was in the running, but I think that it was meant to be.
Absolutely. And it's such a beautiful, poignant film. So much, Michelle, for taking your time to speak with me about this wonderful movie. You have got an exceptional cast on your hand that really delivers everything to this film, that really brings it heart and depth and just the truth that we all need to seek justice, and justice comes in different forms. Maybe not when we need it. But
Exactly.
it's certainly very brave of you, and very wonderful that you've directed this, and very wonderful that you've started speaking out about what's happened with you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely my pleasure. Be safe, be well, and thank you, Samantha, again for all of your help.
Yes, of course. I'll send you the video once it converts.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.